Good evening, brothers and sisters. Sergeant Lane, Cryptid Encounters here. I know I was supposed to get a video up yesterday, but I've been really busy. But I wanted to be pretty thorough on this video, so I just kept looking through all the archives and trying to pull up some good footage to help portray the message I want to get across tonight. But I've talked in the past about the Darrow Sasquatch and the different types of Sasquatch, and we're going to dive into that here this evening to show you some of the Sasquatch I have, different types of Sasquatches. So let me go back to favorites here. Okay, this image was taken about a year and a half ago. I just now getting around to it. This first image I'm going to show you. But nevertheless, it's pretty good footage. It shows you. Okay, this footage is going to show you a Darrow Sasquatch, an example of a Darrow Sasquatch, an example of a hybrid Sasquatch that's Darrow still have some Darrow capabilities. Like what I mean by that is there is a miniature Sasquatch, and I'm going to prove that to you in this footage. It is a. At first I thought it was a Hobbit, the baby Hobbits, because they're always with the Hobbits. They're always crawling around on the Hobbit Sasquatch, and they always start out real young, and then they grow up to about 2.5 foot. Well, I believe that what they're doing, which I know for a fact they are, there's also a Darrow Hobbit that these beings will rest in their snout, right? And throughout my footage in the past couple years, for anybody who's been watching my footage or any Bigfoot footage in general, usually when you slow it down, you'll see where it looks like they're throwing rocks. Like you'll see something thrown on the screen, right? You think that's a rock. In most cases, it probably is a rock, but in some cases, it goes too slow for it to be a rock. So what it is these little beings are being blown out the snout, and then they'll glide to another Sasquatch location, and they will tell them directives. That's why you're never finding these beings, is because they are communicating through these little drones. And I also did a video of the UFO and drones that show that drone, but that's not actually a drone. That is a Hobbit Darrow version of a Sasquatch. And I'm looking through my footage here. I'll find it here in just a second. It's pretty good evidence. Basically, it shows you. Okay, one more second here. It'll show you, like I said, the multiple Sasquatches here. Okay, so we're getting close here, but you'll see right here. See this Darrow? Look at the end of his snout. Right there. There is a Darrow Hobbit resting inside his snout. See him there? Inside his nose. And you can see the Sasquatch's eyes are real big because he's trying to focus in on what he's saying. See, he's talking right there. And I think they'll live in that snout for however long they develop. Maybe they develop in their like in a pouch, basically, just like possums and kangaroo do. You know what I mean? That's basically what this is. It's the same thing. They're getting further development in the snout. So you can see him focusing on talking, and then you see so basically you see, we got a mark up here. So you see the one juvenile right here, and he's focusing on this little guy, and then the adult is focusing on what he's saying. And you can see the one Hobbit, Darrow, is like this, and then there's one here. There's two of them there. This one here is up here kissing this one on the nose, and this other one's here holding. Probably going to teach him to fly or something, but I'm going to show you all that too. I know it might sound extravagant, but I have the evidence to prove it, and that's what we're going to cover here tonight. So that right there is the adult is a full Darrow. The juvenile on top is not. He's most likely a hybrid of some sort. And this one down here is it's either full Darrow or Dogman, one of the two, because of the long snout. So there's two different species of Sasquatch right there. Well, three, excuse me. You got the Darrow Hobbit, and then either this one here, if it's not full Darrow, then it's Dogman. I'm leaning toward Dogman because it has a full dog snout. And it is partially hidden by the cab of the truck. Okay, so that's that image. We're going to go back to this image, which this one here is amazing footage. Okay, so we're going to look here. This is a full-on Darrow right here. Right? Let me go to markup. Okay, so you see the adult's head, right? Comes down like that, and here's the snout. His snout is loaded with a Darrow Hobbit squatch. It's already in there. It's already ready to roll. So if he needs to send a message, he'll blow that snout. The Darrow will leave the snout and fly to wherever else he goes. But if you look right here, here is a little Darrow Hobbit that is suspended in the air with his wings. Like if it's it's suspended in the air communicating with him right there. And either his snout is full or he needs to make a home for the night, whatever. You know, they all sleep inside the nostrils or whatever. And if you look down here, this is one of the best side images I've ever seen of a Sasquatch. Look how pure, or look how clear that comes in. The side profile of that Sasquatch. And you'll see that this snout here is they've been crossbreeding or something, because she's not full Darrow. Her snout, as a matter of fact, it's not even capable of keeping a Darrow Hobbit in its nostrils. It's not even capable of doing it. It's lost that capability. But you can still see that it has Darrow traits. Now, also, for the Sasquatches who are not able to keep them in their nostrils anymore, they will hold them in their mouth. You see a lot of the adult Sasquatches and a lot of the young ones, they will carry the baby Darrows in their mouth. And since they don't have basically a pouch to put them in, they just rest them in their mouth, especially if they have to run or flee an area, because these little beings can't run on their own. And for flying, 99% of them are gliding. They're not flying, they're gliding, most of them. Most of them just glide. I have seen a couple that fly, but most glide. And they have to depend on that snort, the momentum. And usually if they're up in trees, they'll glide out from one treetop to the next or whatever. So that's how they're able to communicate. That's why you never see Sasquatch, is because they have these beings constantly out in front of them. And for the tribes, you never see a tribe because of this. You might catch a straggler every once in a while. You might get lucky. But this is why you're not seeing them. Okay, now this next footage I'm going to take you to. Okay, you see that? This next footage I'm going to take you to. And if you see here also, I was going to say that this Sasquatch, there's one here, a light gray color. But this Sasquatch right here is under a blanket that they've made out of their fur, and they've coated it with maple and other fluids and stuff, so it's like perfect camouflage when they cover up with it. It just blends right in, and that's what they're covered up with right there. But anyways, okay, on to the next piece of footage here. Okay, now there was an image. Well, there was a video I put up a while back about my dog. The juveniles climbing on my dog and run. I did a video about it. Okay, this image right here is the one that I was talking about in particular. Okay, so you got these baby juveniles on my dog. There's the one. See his smile, see his teeth. But what I'd missed is over here, this side dog. See him? Or this Sasquatch right here? Well, if you look down below his snout, he has a flying Darrow Hobbit right here. Let me get a mark up. There's a flying Darrow Hobbit right here, and you can see him in his flight. He's got his wingspans down, but if you watch my video and you pause it, you can catch it and see his wings up, and then it's down and up. That's how I was able to know that he had a Darrow Hobbit right there flying. So, maybe this is where the stories of fairies come from, or vice versa. But this is evidence here, folks. Here's another one right here. You can see, let me go to markup. Go back to here. And you see there's another Darrow Hobbit with flight with wings right here, communicating with these Sasquatches that's on the ground. Right here's one of the babies. You see his eyes looking. He's looking up to this Darrow Hobbit, most likely telling them, "Hey, time to clear out." Then you got this juvenile here that's kind of looking down, and like when the adults want to give them orders, these little beings fly in and give them orders. It's not not telepathic or nothing like that. They're using these, basically a bird, basically a talking, a talking bird, basically is what they are. uh, communicating. Okay, so I'm going to go to another image that I have of this same encounter, and we're going to see those wings in a different spot. Okay, you can see here he's talking to him. The wings are in a different spot. All right. Um, you can even see the little feet on him right here. There's his tail and there's his little wings that come out like that. All right. And this little Sasquatch has got all this bushy hair you see in his nose. Of course, he might have the full Darrow capability. I can't tell. He just might be too young to tell. But his nose might have the capability of launching them. I don't know. But, otherwise, they'll just store them in their mouth. They all still use them. They just, some are not, can only use specific ones. Okay. Okay, you see this one a little bit better. Okay, you see him focusing on me. I guess I blasted him with the light a little too close. But if you look down, you see his wingspan there. You see this little Darrow flying up now. He's flying up. But you can see his little leg, one leg here, and then one's right here. But then you see his wingspans here. His one wing there and one over there. You can't really see because it's in motion. But you can see his little head here with his hair. You see his arm out like that. And you can see the Sasquatch has his nose right there. It looks like he's going to burrow into his nose. That's what he's doing. He's getting ready to get into the nose and probably be launched out. But that's what he's doing. He's going to crawl into that. So I have a lot more compelling evidence on this topic. I know the Bigfoot community is probably going to have a heyday with complaints about this, but if now that the Bigfoot community has the knowledge, knowing about these creatures and their capability, if you go back and look at all that old footage and you slow it way down and you see what looks like little rocks flung from one tree over to another, you'll realize that that is this Darrow capability. The young ones have it. I don't know if they outgrow it, like how like a slug becomes a butterfly, or a moth or whatever it is. Moth becomes a butterfly, and then it springs its wings or whatever. Maybe it's like that. They have this capability until they reach adult age or something, and then they fall off or something. I don't know. Or their height just keeps growing to where they're not able to do it no more. There's a process about it, but when they're young, they're able to be used like this. They have this capability. Okay. Bear with me here. Sorry I started off slow. It just took me a minute to get started there. Okay, so let's look. Um, me see. Can't tell. That looks like there's a little Darrow right there sitting with this juvenile, little baby juvenile, waiting on my dogs to come through the yard. Let's see here. Let me find it. Yeah, there's. Let's see if I can find it here. Here's a little Darrow, little hybrid Darrow right here, right? And this is the Sasquatch right here with the Darrow snout right here. He's loaded. There is a Darrow already in his nose. He's already there in his nose, and then there's one here talking. You'll see that here's one Sasquatch right here. See his eyes, his nose, his teeth, his mouth. And then there's a baby right here. And then this right here is my dog's face. Up through there. They're sitting on my dog. And then this one right here is a juvenile that's all sprawled out on my dog's back. It's this brown juvenile. And then on the back here is another little juvenile, another little baby. But there's like 3 Sasquatches on my dog right there. And then you have the Darrows on there, on their noses. It's crazy. Look at that. Look at that face. Okay. Let's see here. There's just so much footage to go through. Let me see here. This image here kind of looked like a side profile of a Dogman. You can see it's in the brush. But that does look like a Dogman. I've not had a chance to enhance the footage. I'll have to do that on another day, but this definitely looks like a Dogman. Let me see here. That little Sasquatch. Little tiny thing. There's another one right there looking at me. Look at that. He has got a young Darrow Hobbit on his nose. I can't tell, but right here is the Darrow. Right here's the Darrow Hobbit. You see its leg right there. Its hand out like that. It's on that little juvenile Sasquatch right there that's holding on to my dog. You can see its body there on the face, sitting on the face of the Sasquatch. See him right there? They're so light that, you know, they spread their arms and they can just glide forever, it seems like. They can go a long ways. And this one here, you can see there's more Sasquatches here, but I was in motion, so that's why it's not coming in real clear, but they got their arms wrapped around my dog's head up there. And then you see that big Sasquatch in the brush back there keeping an eye on everything. Also, I had been when I would go outside, I would write I wrote on this board as a 2 foot by 2 foot board, a piece of plywood, and I wrote the alphabet down on there and 1 through 20. And every time I go outside, I would say A, B, C, D. Well, now in the footage, I look, and these Sasquatches are putting letters on their foreheads and numbers, and it's coming up in my footage. But they're writing it on their bodies, and that's how they're learning the alphabet from one another. They're calling each other that alphabet letter, maybe, I don't know, but they're trying to learn what the alphabet is. And like you'll see, there's something smeared right there. The footage ain't coming in that good, so you can't really tell what it is. But on that one, you can't really tell. But they're writing an alphabet letter on their head, on their heads and stuff. Let's see. There's one there. Let's see. I'll show you definitive proof of that real quick. Let me see here. Okay. This one has H on its face. You can't really tell, but there's the letter H or 4 on that one. There's a 7 right there. They're marking on their faces these numbers. Just a moment, I'll show you the one that how I found out that that's what they were doing is I'll show you that one. That's how I was notified that that's what they were doing. I think it was a W or an L or one of them that was marking their face. Some of them had a T. There's a couple different ones. But anyways, my new camera, I'll be picking that up tomorrow, so my footage is going to be getting a lot better here. Let me see. Let's see if I can find that the image here. So that one marked his forehead with something, but I can't tell if it's an X or an 8. He marked his forehead with one of the numbers. This one here, you can't really tell their marks, but let me see. His is marked something. It's hard to see. You can tell if he was feeding off a tree root or something. But oh, this was interesting footage. This was an adult. He's in between 2 trees. The juvenile it fell out front of the tree. See him there? The juvenile sitting way down there. And I was getting too close to him. And the adult poked his head between the tree and growled at me to run me off. And he was protecting the juvenile that had fell down between the trees. Check his face out there. Let me see here. That one. This one here was feeding. He's feeding off the tree there. Oh, And something else that I found going through my footage that was an absolute mind blower. Um, but basically, they were. I caught some Sasquatch hiding, and I'm going to show you that footage where they were hiding at. It's freaking unbelievable. Um, but anyways, I'll have to do a follow-up video on the marking of the forehead. Um, he's got some mark on his head, but the image is just too distorted to tell on him. Um, but basically, they were marking the alphabet on their foreheads, and I think that's how they were reciting the alphabet to each other. Um, was by the marks. Let's see here. The little guy's feeding on a tree. Okay. All right. So basically, uh, on this next part, these Sasquatches were hiding out in plain sight, right? And I went on my hike. This was at the out the hurricane trails, the hiking trails. There's 3 or 4 different ones, but you can go there and go off the beaten path a little bit, and you can experience Sasquatch. Don't go by yourself. Um, if you ever go there, don't go by yourself. Just, just don't do it. Uh, and if you was to ever go hiking, make sure somebody knows where you're going. I'll just put that out there. But anyways, on this next footage, I'm going to show you right off the trail, right? You're going to see uh, just a minute here. There's Sasquatch in the bush right here. All right, he's got an eye on me there. All right, there's a Sasquatch right there. But what's intriguing is you got Sasquatch there, then you got the tree bark right here of the tree. But look behind that. There is an eyeball. And there's a face. He is buried in the tree. They're cutting holes out of the tree. And I've got plenty of evidence showing Sasquatches with planks and stuff like that on their head or whatever. And what that is they are in a tree, burrowed out in a tree, and that plank is on their head is used to shut them into the tree where you can't see them. They jump in that tree, they got that plank, they pop it right in, and they shut the door. Check that out. That's crazy, guys. Look at that footage, man. Okay, you know I'm not just going to show you one piece of evidence and tell you that, oh, that's the golden rule. I'll show you another piece of evidence to back that up, right? And here we go. I'm going to show you real quick. So I'm going to hit back on that. Okay. And usually there's always one out on the ground while the other ones are. So there's a bunch of big trees here off the trail, right? Let me go to mark up here. And you see this Sasquatch right here, the gray-haired Sasquatch with the gray skin. All right, he's standing right there. All right. There's another Sasquatch right here on the ground. All right. I can't tell, but that looks like a big foot right there. I can't tell. I'm not going to say it is, but it looks like a giant foot to me. But that's not. Well, then you got the eyes here. There's a couple different Sasquatches in that footage. But anyways, that's not what we're here for. We're going to look all the way over here, right? Look right here. Damn. Behind that tree bark, there's a face peering out at me. See his eye? His nose, his mouth. You can see his mouth, his jaw. That's one. And then right here is part two. There's another Sasquatch right here on the other end of the plank. Right? They're cutting this plank out. And they're sleeping inside the tree, basically. I'm going to remove the marks. Then I'm going to zoom back over here so we can really take a look. So you could see it. Look at that. He is snarling at me. He is snarling at me, that Sasquatch is. Look at his mouth. Look at his eye. He doesn't want me there, and you can tell. There's a Sasquatch right above him there, too. Look, he's got an eye on me, and his snout is partially sticking out. Right? They're inside that tree bark. Okay? And then here's the other one. He's a gray-haired one. You can see him there. Now, these beings are just highly intelligent. People say, "Oh, well, Sasquatch will disappear behind a tree, or they'll take one step and that's all there is, and then it's just like they disappeared." Well, I got evidence on that too that I've discovered this past week. I mean, it's been a eye-opening week for me that these Sasquatches are making feet wear, shoes that, like they are putting like a cap that goes over the front of the foot, and and at the end of it comes into like a cone shape, and it looks like a deer hoof on the front and the back. So if you're ever out in the woods and you see deer tracks that looks like it's walking in a circle, that's footwear that these Sasquatches are making. And I'm going to do a follow-up video on that of the evidence that I have on that. And I'll be putting that up on the channel. Anyways, this video is running long. But yeah, I mean, there's some mind-blowing footage that I've put up here tonight. But yeah, folks, we're here to expand our brains on on all things Sasquatch. And the evidence is starting to come in. I got a new camera, like I said, so it's going to start coming crystal clear, and we'll go from there. Anyways, yeah, that definitely looks like a giant there, but we'll see. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Peace.